welcome back. A St. Charles County man paid a business thousands to do a job.
Yeah, the company guaranteed results or he'd get his money back. Well, 2 years later, he's got nothing to show for his payment. He contacted News 4 investigator Chris Negus for answers, and tonight he's getting results.
In the middle of a cold St. Louis winter, who wouldn't dream of a resort getaway like this?
Calypso Cay Resort is a vacationer's playground.
For years, Ron Russellberg of St. Charles vacationed at this Orlando timeshare with his family.
Back then it sounded like it was going to be something we could use for our entire life, which is what they kind of advertised.
But as families change, so do their needs. And that's when Russellberg saw an ad like this one.
If you feel trapped by your timeshare, Timeshare Exit Team can get you out.
It seemed like a great way to offload a timeshare he no longer wanted.
When you heard the ads, what stuck out to you?
Well, their guarantee.
Russellberg says the Timeshare Exit Team, also known as Reed Hine Associates, promised a 100% money-back guarantee if they couldn't get him out of his timeshare within a reasonable amount of time, and understood it to mean within 180 days. So he paid more than $4,000 to get it done. That was October 2017. More than 2 years and 3 months later, Russellberg is still paying monthly maintenance fees on a unit he doesn't want or use, and there's no buyer.
It was their guarantee that if it didn't work out, then we could get our money back and it would be no harm, no foul.
And it states that in writing.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So why is it so hard to get your money back?
That's a good question.
It shouldn't be this long.
John Cushman reviewed Russellberg's information. He runs his own timeshare resale business in Montana, but recently agreed to fly to St. Louis to talk with me about problems he sees in the industry. He said sellers are often unrealistic.
What you paid for the timeshare is not what you're going to be able to sell it for.
Cushman says he sees a lot of desperate sellers, and unfortunately he sees a lot of offshore scams targeting sellers in places like Missouri and Illinois. To be clear, he's not calling the Timeshare Exit Team a scam, but he is leery of any company that charges an upfront payment before a deal closes.
It's important to realize that there's scammers and then there's companies that are trying to provide services and not always following through with it.
For that reason, Cushman started what he calls the Timeshare Scam Hotline, a way to report any problem, whether it's an outright scam while trying to sell a timeshare or a long delay like the one Russellberg was facing.
You own one.
Cushman made it clear he does not use the hotline to solicit new business.
What if there's a critic out there that says, well, this guy sells timeshares. He's just doing this to get more business?
Sure, yeah. That wasn't the intention. We started the fraud hotline. One, I was tired of getting calls from people who were getting scammed that sounded like my grandma.
Cushman says the information obtained is turned over to the Better Business Bureau along with state attorney generals.
We paid,
as for Russellberg,
$4,529.
He was at his wit's end when he called me.
So just to be clear, you are paying for something you cannot use.
Correct.
So I reached out to the Timeshare Exit Team myself. A couple days later, a full refund was deposited in Russellberg's account, and it happened more than 2 years after Russellberg tried to close a deal by hiring the Timeshare Exit Team. The Timeshare Exit Team responded saying, unfortunately, there was some confusion by this customer regarding the time frame detailed in our contract, and Timeshare Exit Team has never had a 180-day guarantee. They add, we offered to find another exit option for them, which they declined, so they provided a full refund. And get this, the Timeshare Exit Team has also started their own website to shed light on deceptive tactics used by the timeshare industry. All of it makes one point pretty clear. People that work within the industry seem to agree there's a problem within the industry. Chris Negus, News 4 investigates.